What's going on, people? We are Tottenham TV here, and welcome back to another episode of the Premier League's Perspective, where we take a look at the Premier League action and how it's got to do with Spurs. And we have got some really interesting stuff to talk about this week. And what we've got to talk about is the last time we brought you this show, Tottenham was sitting nicely in top of the league. And now we're in sixth. So it's going to be a great episode for you guys out there. And where to start off with but Selhurst Park, Crystal Palace failing to even, you know what I mean? Like, they play against Spurs and they put everyone behind the ball, and then they try and go a bit more expansive against Liverpool and get battered 7-0. It's just... Oh, how do you read into this game, Sim?
What I'm more frustrated about is bloody Guaita having a man-of-the-match performance against Spurs. You know, saving everything. It doesn't save a shot against Liverpool. But look, you got to give it to Liverpool because that was some seriously impressive football they played against Crystal Palace, winning 7-0. Every single goal seemed to be an absolute banger as well. They scored some seriously high-quality goals. And they really seem like nothing's affecting them at the moment. I would say not having Benteke definitely hurt Palace because I felt like they had no outlet to push the ball forward. Against Spurs, they were just lumping it to Benteke time and time again, and he was winning everything in the air and giving them an outlet to kind of get the team out. And they didn't really have that against Liverpool, so they were penned in the whole time with no outlet. Having said that, it was just so easy for Liverpool. It was like child's play for them, and some of their goals were unbelievable. So, look, maybe after they drew against Fulham and they drew against Brighton, I was thinking maybe they're starting to slip. But after that performance, it's hard to think of anything other than they're on top form again.
Yeah, it really does look like they're coming out to play again. It looks like that's what they needed to beat Tottenham to get their season back on track again, which we've seen with many teams over the year. But look, 7-0 away at home to Crystal Palace. After we played them, we were like, you know what? Huh?
Away at home.
Away from home.
Away from home.
7-0 away from home. When we went there and got a point, yeah, we were disappointed with the point, but we would say, you know what, Selhurst Park's a hard place to go. Not many teams will go and win there, and then Liverpool go and win 7-0 there.
We should have won. We only had ourselves to blame why we didn't win. And although Palace gave us a tougher game, probably you would argue, than they gave Liverpool, it was only ourselves to blame why we didn't beat Palace, and we should have won that game. And Liverpool showed what can happen if you keep on attacking the opposition, keep going. But on the flip side of that, although they did turn out 7-0 winners at the end, at 1-0, Palace had a lot of chances, or really a lot of promising moments to get a goal there and to equalise. So they could have been an opening there for Palace. It could have been a different game if they did equalise, but they got the second goal, Liverpool, and they went on end up running riot. But yeah, Liverpool showed what can happen if you don't just rest on your laurels, try and grind out the win and actually go for more goals. And that's what we should have done. And we've even proved it in the game that we should have done that.
Yeah, and when you look at it, the last couple of weeks we've been saying missed opportunities because we've been dropping points. The other teams have been dropping points as well. Now we're dropping points and the other teams are not dropping points.
Yeah, that's what happened this week. But I think if you look at the remaining fixtures, I would say I think the halfway point is a good barometer of where you're at. And because I feel like everyone says it's Christmas, but usually at Christmas it's like 18, 19 games, and now we're on 14, so we're about a bit of a lag of a few games.
Yeah.
But once in our next 5 games, we don't play anyone in the top 8. So let's hope we can go on a run now between now and the halfway point and see where we're at before we play Liverpool, and that'll be a good barometer of where we're going to be this season, I think.
Although you say we're not playing anyone in the top 8, and I know they're not in the top 8, but they could be in a slightly false position at the moment in Wolves because we got to go there away, and that's always a tough game.
Of course, it's a tough game. Wolves against the big sides, especially at home, they always give a good game. You saw how they beat Chelsea 2-1 in a game which was a very close game, but they shaded it. They got a last-minute winner, and they probably deserved it as well. I think they're not going to be as much as a threat as they have been with Jimenez. With Jimenez being out, I feel like they miss him for sure. They just lost to Burnley 2-1 this week.
Yeah.
In what was a pretty dire game for them, which I was watching. They deservedly got beaten by Burnley. So I think
Burnley creeping up to Arsenal now.
they are. They really are. We'll go through that, but they're 1 point behind Arsenal. But yeah, they did lose 2-1 to Burnley. But I think Wolves are always going to be a tough nut to crack. They're always a solid team. They're always there defensively. But if we do take the lead, then I feel like we should be all right, because I feel like their firepower isn't as strong without Jimenez.
They always seem to step up in the second half, Wolves. I don't think they've scored a goal in the first half this season yet, or something, or maybe one or something. There's some crazy stat like that with Wolves this season.
What they like to do is they like to hold off Adama Traore till the second half, don't they? And then they bring him on, and then he tries to cause some damage. He hasn't had the best of seasons, actually, Adama. He hasn't really hit the heights that he was hitting last season. But one player who's a real danger man is Podence, who's been
and
really
Neto.
solid. And Neto, yeah, those two wingers have been really good. Fabio Silva hasn't done enough up front, I would say, to really feel like he's going to fill the boots of Jimenez. But look, it's going to be a tough game, but I'm sure we can, if we can do it. I really am.
Let's go on to Southampton against Man City. Man City winning the game 1-0. Were you disappointed with Southampton's performance?
Yeah, a bit. I felt like they could have offered more. I think Man City, look, they're always going to be a strong side. And then in any game, even when they lose games, it's always going to be tight. And they're always in the game, aren't they? And it was the same against Southampton. I think they got the early goal and they kind of just sat on their laurels a bit. And although they tried for the second and didn't quite come off for City, but I felt like I was watching it and it was fairly comfortable for City. I didn't feel like they were that troubled by Southampton.
I felt the same, yeah.
And
especially Danny Ings going off as well.
Yeah. So look, I think a 1-0 win was deserved for City, and they're creeping up the table now. They seem to be getting some wins together. So it's imperative that we go on a run now between for the next few games while we have some decent fixtures. But City, they beat Burnley 5-0, didn't they? Not so long ago. They want to get another game after that, and now I believe it's 3 wins on the trot, I think, now for City. Yeah. So their signs look good. And Sterling getting back on the score sheet might give them a lot of confidence as well.
And on the flip side with Southampton, they've had an amazing start to the season, and they have a few poor results the last couple of weeks.
I saw 3 long wins on the road because they drew to West Brom. Sorry, that was their first win in 3, Man City. My apologies. My apologies. But I still think they're going to be back up the table, City, in no time.
Yeah, that's it, because they drew with Man United, drew with West Brom, and then beat Southampton.
Yeah. Exactly, but even against West Brom they struggled, but in the other games they've looked okay. And although they're definitely not at their best, that's for sure. But but there's no reason why they can't go on a run second half of the season. You always got to be wary of City.
Everyone knows their qualities, and especially Aguero probably back for the second half of the season as well.
Yeah, and look, winning against Hampton's a good win for them. It's a very solid win.
Yeah, Southampton have been class this season. Their form has been brilliant, but they're kind of tailing off a bit now.
Yeah, I don't know if they're tailing off, but
a couple of bad results.
Yeah, but for what they want to achieve, they're doing fine, aren't they?
Yeah. Let's go on to Goodison Park. Everton 2, Arsenal 1, and Arsenal have now not won a game for 2 months or something in the Premier League.
1st of November, I believe,
against Manchester United.
Yes, against Man United. What a poor like that win was completely overstated as well. You got to say, and look, Arsenal, they're in a relegation battle at the moment. They really are.
But look, you got to say, well done to Arsenal though for keeping 11 men on the pitch for this game. you got to say it. You got to give it to them. You got to give it to them.
It was Ceballos. He nearly got sent off as well. You got stamped on the player. It wasn't without the want of trying. But you got to say Arsenal. You're watching that game and. Again, they struggled to really do, and again they dominated possession, but to no avail. Didn't really create much. Everton a couple of opportunities going forward, and they got a couple of goals. They won the game, and Everton on a good run now, beating Chelsea 1-0, beating Arsenal 2-1. So they're going to be happy with that. But Arsenal are in freefall, absolute freefall. They've lost 4 of the last 5 games. They've only won. I don't know what they're one. I believe it's 5 points out of 30. I believe for them. In the last 10 games. So, it's not far off 2 points from 8 games from what Juande did. I believe it's 2 points from 7. So another loss to Chelsea.
And they got Chelsea this weekend.
He's matching Juande Ramos for the record of Spanish managers, probably worst Spanish managers in the league. But Look, I'm loving every minute of this of the Arsenal downfall, and they're at the moment. Burnley are right now 1 point behind with a game in hand. They have Brighton to come, not in the not too distant future, and they're only just behind. West Brom just appointed Big Sam, so they're going to be confident that they can stay up. And then you got Fulham.
West Brom got in there just before Arsenal could as well.
Exactly. And then you've got Fulham, who seem to be getting their act together a bit with getting some results together. So, Arsenal, if they don't start picking up results soon, they really could be in the bottom three before you know it. And that is something, and apparently, you come out in the papers, they're planning for relegation, or they have a plan in place if they do get relegated and all this stuff. And at the moment, I don't know if these players have the stomach for a relegation battle, in all honesty. Aubameyang, he's injured, he checked out. He hasn't been great anyway this season. And without Aubameyang, they have a front three of Willian, Nketiah, and Pepe. Like, where are the goals coming from? Where are the goals? The goal they did get was a lucky penalty, pretty much.
The penalty spot. But what I want to talk about as well with Arsenal is the captain's curse has evolved now from Arsenal. Instead of their captain leaving every summer, their captain seems to score own goals every week. Last week was Aubameyang. This week, Rob Holding. I mean, how does Rob Holding even get the armband?
I don't know. Like, honestly, he's such an average player, Rob Holding, and he has been for so long. And the fact that he has the armband, and David Luiz was even on the pitch, and he didn't get the armband, shows where Arsenal are at the moment. They really don't know what they're doing. I really felt the ramblings of Arteta in the press conference came across as someone who really is struggling to.
We've been saying that for weeks now.
Yeah, he's struggling to know what's wrong, really. He's saying all these rubbish statistics, like they only had a 7% chance of losing to Tottenham. They only had a 3% chance of losing to Burnley. They only had a 5% chance of losing to Everton on the weekend. And he's saying they're just so unlucky they keep losing all these games. Mate, anyone who's watching the games can see they're not unlucky. Everyone can see that if Arsenal go behind or concede early, that's it for them. Their confidence is going, they're down, and they don't have the firepower to create chances and score chances. And they've got 12 goals. They've got more points than goals this season. They've got 12 goals and 14 points. They're an absolute joke at the moment. Their recruitment is really coming back to bite them. Their choice of manager is coming back to bite them. The over-celebration of moments where they could have kept grounded is coming back to bite them. And I think Arsenal are in real trouble at the moment. And, Chelsea on the weekend, then Brighton away, which is literally, I was saying about Burnley being a relegation 6-pointer. I was being a bit half joking, but I'm being deadly serious when I say Brighton is a relegation 6-pointer. Relegation. They really are in trouble of going down at the moment, Arsenal, if they don't get their act together. And that's not even joking. That's just looking at the brass facts of the situation. And watching their highlights of their watch-alongs each week is becoming such a joy. The Arsenal Fan TV watch-alongs, they're absolutely brilliant because they're just getting more and more depressed and resigned, and it's great. It really is great to have DT smashing his phone because someone said he compared Emre to Arteta. And the thing is with DT, what's great about him is, like, he's backed Arteta so much, like, he can't, whatever happens now, like, he continually backs him because he can't afford to be seen to be turning against him because he's backed him so hard. And so, like, even after each loss, he's been made to look more and more like an idiot each week. It's absolutely fantastic.
Brilliant. I mean, how long do you reckon Arteta has?
He should have been gone already, so he's on borrowed time. I don't know. At this point, who knows how long he has, because any manager who's doing what Arteta's doing would have been gone by now. Any of the top 6 clubs, top 7 clubs, he would be gone. Probably gone a couple of weeks ago. So the fact he's still in a manager is beyond
how?
belief.
I don't get how he's still in the job.
Don't know. If you would have told any Arsenal fan you're going to be in a relegation battle at the start of the season, they'll be like, yeah, he has to go. And it's now 14 games in. I don't know I wonder if they have more points than Pochettino had. No, they definitely don't. I'm pretty sure they have less points than Poch had last year when we sacked him. And the thing is, last year, I think it's the same. It smacks of what the same thing of this year is, like, they sacked Emre without a plan. They sacked him just like, we'll find someone once we sack him. and then they dawdled for a few weeks and then settled on Arteta. And at the moment, it doesn't. There aren't any murmurings that he's going to leave, or any murmurings that he's on the brink of sacking or anything at the moment. So it kind of sounds like to me they don't have a plan in place for him leaving. It sounds like they're backing him. So if he does eventually leave, they could be in a similar situation where they're dawdling again and they don't know what they're doing. And they sack him. They have to have a plan in place this time. But look, I'm enjoying every minute of it at the moment. They're just losing week in, week out.
Bring back Freddie. That's what I say.
Yeah, exactly. Like they're on 8 defeats now in 14 games. It's an absolute shambles, and it's delightful.
It is delightful, and I am loving every second of it. But when you think back to kind of all the Arsenal kind of banter that we've had over the past couple of years, and it has been great, it really has. This has got to be the worst Arsenal side we've seen. Even you put the Sol Campbells and the Silvestras up there. You know what I mean?
Look, I think in terms of Arsenal side, in terms of the actual players and their squad, they're definitely in a position they shouldn't be in terms of the quality of their squad. You've got to say that because they've got some. I think they've got like in defence, they've got Leno's a decent keeper. They've got Gabriel's a decent centre back. They've got Bellerin, who's a half decent right back. They've got Tierney, who's a good left back.
Half decent right back that can't take a throw on.
Yeah, that's true. Good at except for throw-ons. Or Ainsley Maitland-Niles has done well. And they've got, obviously, Thomas Partey, who hasn't played much, but he's a good player. Ceballos is inconsistent.
Thomas Partey, TTT.
Xhaka's very average. Yeah, exactly. Then you got, like, up front, Willian, Pepe, Lacazette, Aubameyang. Like, there should be goals in there. There really should be. And the fact that they're failing as badly as they are, look, even if he was 10th right now, people would be saying, I would be saying, like, you've got to look at his position. The fact that they're 15th and in a relegation battle, for me, that's unacceptable. And I don't know how Arsenal fans are defending, and they're saying it's the players. I can't believe what I'm hearing from them. I think Arsenal fans at the moment, for what I'm seeing, is they went so hard against a club legend in Wenger that maybe they're getting a bit of PTSD from that because they went so hard against him. And they were top 4 challengers back then, top 4, sometimes even a rare sight of a title, and that wasn't good enough for them. And then they hounded him out. They put the banners up. They said they want him out. And they're like, okay, they got what they wished for. They got Unai Emery, and then all of a sudden they realised, the grass isn't always greener on the other side. And Emery came in and didn't exactly improve things that much. In the first season it wasn't disastrous, but it didn't really improve things that much. And then all of a sudden he wasn't good enough, and they wanted him out. So they brought back a former player, now Arteta. He's now manager, and I think they thought to themselves, we're going to give him time to kind of implement his ideas. Well, this is what happens when you implement a rookie manager into a squad which needed experience. And now
everyone said, "Be careful what you wish for." And now look at them.
This is even worse than United post Fergie. The Arsenal post Wenger is the worst of the lot, and it shows that you should be careful when you're hounding out a club legend like they did. But now because they was going so hard against Wenger, I feel like a lot of them don't want to go as hard against Arteta because they don't want to hound out another former or a player who they value, who they look at as like a hero or legend or whatever. They don't want to. I don't think they want to hound him out as badly as they did Wenger. But the fact of the matter is, there's like, you're in a relegation battle. like, come on. Like, somewhat, and a lot of managers could be doing a better job, that's for sure.
Let them keep backing Arteta. That's what I say.
I'm happy. I'm Arteta in all the way. I'm Arteta in all the way to the end of the season. I reckon trust the process. Trust the process.
Trust the process. You heard that, you gooners. Trust it. But look, we've spoken about enough about Arsenal. The last game on the Saturday was Newcastle 1, Fulham 1. A great point for Fulham in their quest to go above Arsenal.
No, but what a shambles that VAR decision was. Absolutely.
I missed that VAR
shambles.
decision.
Oh, it was ridiculous. Callum Wilson gets fouled outside the box, and he goes stumbling into the box and goes over, and the referee gives a penalty. It goes to VAR, and I'm like, okay, the VAR is going to look at it. He's going to see it's outside the box, and he's going to overturn the decision. But not only did the VAR not show him, he went to VAR not because of the penalty. He went to VAR because because the VAR said the defender should have been sent off because he denied a goal scoring opportunity. And so the VAR only showed the tackle and didn't show that the tackle was outside the box. He just showed that he should have been a red card or something, and they actually sent him off for challenge, it wasn't even a penalty. So I thought it was absolutely ridiculous VAR calls. That Graham Scott again, who disallowed the Højbjerg goal challenge. And I thought it was an absolute farcical. This is the problem. VAR is there, and they're just using it wrong. It's the referee's incompetence, which is the fault for that decision, in my opinion. But yeah, look, Fulham did well to get ground out a draw because they're winning and deservedly winning, and probably would have won if it wasn't for that decision. Newcastle were barely in the game. But yeah, look, Fulham seems to be getting their act together, and it has to be worrying Arsenal a bit because they seem to be picking up points now. They're really not far behind Arsenal. They're how many?
Come on, Scotty Parker's Black and White Army.
They're 4 points behind Arsenal. That's it.
I know, it's mad.
4 points.
It's mad.
And another how bad Fulham have been this season.
I know, it's crazy. And two other teams that are chasing Arsenal, well, maybe not one of them, but Brighton, Sheffield United at the Amex this weekend. I was praying for Brighton to get all the 3 points, but how did they not beat Sheffield United?
They should have. Well, Sheffield United went down to 10 men.
I know,
seemed to galvanise them going down to 10 men because they got that goal and they actually looked all right. But once Brighton was struggling to get that equaliser, Danny Welbeck gets it late on, and then there was an almighty push right at the end, and somehow they conspired not to score, hitting the post and shots off the line. And Arsenal, I think, will breathe a big sigh of relief. Big sigh of relief that Brighton didn't get all 3 points because Brighton would have overtaken them. And although they did close the gap by a point, I think Arsenal, these are the games they're watching now. They're watching Newcastle, Fulham and Brighton, Sheffield United with their hands, with their head in their hands. Can't barely watch because they're literally hoping Brighton drop points.
I love it. The last 3 weeks, we've dropped points every week, and I haven't heard one peep out of an Arsenal fan. No banter, no nothing.
They can't say shit at the moment because they're in a relegation battle.
Manchester United absolutely battered Leeds 6-2. They're really starting to play this season. I mean, they're a danger. They're above us already.
Look, United, they've been in a very good run of form there. They're probably the form team in the league at the moment. The results they're getting win after win after win. They're still conceding a lot of goals. 2 against Sheffield United, 2 against Leeds. 1 against West Ham, but could have been more. And they were 2-0 down against Southampton, and they end up winning. So look, there are definitely aspects to their game I can see where is it sustainable? I'm not so sure. We'll have to wait and see on that one. But look, I've always said their attacking firepower that they have is up there with anything the league has to offer. Rashford, Martial, Greenwood, Bruno, Cavani coming in.
McTominay apparently.
McTominay turned into prime Paul Scholes somehow. I don't know how he's done that. But look, they've got a real serious attacking firepower. And if you don't nullify them, they can hurt anyone. And they're obviously a really big threat on the break, as they've shown many times with their fast breaking players. But it remains to be seen whether they can, whether it will carry on for the whole season. Because I still feel like there's a lot of inconsistency in their game. They are getting wins at the moment, and I'm impressed with their attacking play. I've always said they've got some of the best attackers in the league, but I feel like they're going to drop off. I do. That's just watching them. That's how I feel like that's what I feel like is going to happen.
You still back us to finish above them?
I do. I've got that. Look, it's going to be. I think they've impressed me more than I thought, and they're a good team. Clearly, I'm not saying they're not a good team, but I feel like we will finish above them come the end of the season.
All right. The final game on Sunday was West Brom against Villa, 3-0 to Villa at the Hawthorns. What did you make out of that game? Livermore got sent off early, and it was just an easy win for Villa, wasn't it?
Game after that, it was a dead game after. It was 1-0. I was watching it, and I was hoping Big Sam could have pulled a result out of the bag, but Villa were far the better team. Grealish again weaving his magic, absolutely beautiful stuff from him. Bertrand Traore. Look, the fact of the matter is how the game went is they went 1-0 up. West Brom got a man sent off, and then they kind of shop a bit West Brom to not concede any more goals. And then in the final 10 minutes, they opened up a bit to try and see if they can steal something. And once they opened up, they got hit twice on the break, and that was it. Bertrand Traore with a nice finish and a late penalty as well. So I think Villa with a solid win for them. Nothing. They didn't really prove anything with the win, but they got the win over the line. And Sam Allardyce started his tenure in a bad way. But I think ultimately the red card cost them. Big time.
Captain Jake Livermore as well, wasn't it?
Yeah, really stupid challenge.
In the final 2 games, Monday night, we touched on the first one already. Burnley 2, Wolves 1. And the last one was Chelsea 3, West Ham 0. What did you make out of that?
So yeah, we touched on Burnley Wolves before, which I thought Burnley definitely deserved to win. Which they showed how you can play against Wolves and not give them any chances, and get a couple of moments the other way, and they really deserved it. They could have been won by more even, and Wolves really struggled badly. But we all know it's not these games. Wolves sometimes struggle, but against the better teams, Wolves always turn up. So we've got to be wary of them on Sunday. But in terms of Chelsea, from what I saw, it was a close game, closer than the scoreline suggests. It was 1-0.
Well, they got 2 in the last 10, didn't he? Tammy Abraham.
That was the thing. It was 1-0 to Chelsea after a header from a corner. After West Ham had a goal ruled out from VAR for offside, just slightly offside from Declan Rice.
They seem to be scoring a lot of goals from corners with Chelsea.
They have. They scored a lot. I think they've already scored more than the whole of last season this season from corners.
That Zuma, how many goals has he got this season? Like 4 or 5? That was Thiago Silva last weekend.
More than Aubameyang, I'm pretty sure about that.
Much more, probably double.
Yeah. But look, they got a goal from a corner, and then all of a sudden it was a very tight game going into the last 10 minutes. West Ham could have got something, but at the end it was a mishit shot from Werner, which fell to Tammy, and that puts the game to bed. And it was a bit of a lucky goal. But another game where it was a lot closer than the scoreline suggests, but a very good win for Chelsea. In the race for top 4. So Chelsea will be very happy with that. West Ham have been very good this season. So a 3-0 win, you've got to be happy with that as a Chelsea fan. But again, as watching the game, it was a lot closer than the scoreline suggested.
All right, so that is the roundup of the weekend's Premier League results. Next week, we'll be back to round up some more big games. Some notable fixtures coming up this weekend are Leicester against Manchester United at the King Power. Arsenal against Chelsea at the Emirates. I mean, that is going to be a tasty one. What else have we got? Wolves Spurs, which is a big one. And the other ones, I mean, Liverpool, West Brom at Anfield is going to be an absolute walkover. And Man City at home to Newcastle as well. You expect Man City to take all 3 points there. But Leicester Man U is going to be, what do you reckon is going to happen in that one?
It's going to be a close game. Leicester showed what they're all about against us. Hopefully, if they draw and we win, we go back above both of them. So I think it's an important game for important that we get 3 points this weekend and capitalise on one of them dropping points at least. And hopefully it is a draw, because I think both teams are going to be a threat this season. All
right, so catch us next week for another episode of the Premier League's Perspective. Like, subscribe and comment. And as always, come on you Spurs.